Hey everyone, and welcome back to Backstage. In today's video, we are going to be talking about a super viral skincare brand that is all over TikTok, Glow Recipe. You probably know the watermelon sleeping mask. You've seen it in people's Get Ready With Me videos. You've seen the dewdrops all over your feed. But what you probably don't know is how two Korean American women turned an under-the-radar trend into a multi-million-dollar business. From corporate boardrooms to Shark Tank to Sephora shelves, this is the real story behind Glow Recipe. Before Glow Recipe became the watermelon-scented empire that we know today, it started out with two powerhouse women, Sarah Lee and Christine Chang. Both of them are American Korean and spent over a decade at L'Oreal, rotating through global marketing, product development, and innovation roles. Christine worked in both the US and Korea, which gave her an insight into the cultural differences between how skincare is marketed in Asia versus in the West. Sarah, meanwhile, specialized in brand strategy and product launches. Corporate careers gave them insider knowledge into how product trends are born, how they're born, how brands scale, how retailers think, and most importantly, where the blind spots in the beauty industry were. And one of those blind spots was Korean skincare in the American market. In 2014, Sarah and Christine quit their jobs, they pulled their savings and decided to launch Glow Recipe, not as a skincare brand, but as a curated e-commerce brand for Korean beauty products. Back then, K-beauty wasn't really trending yet. Amazon and Sephora didn't carry many K-beauty brands yet, and there was confusion and skepticism around the 10-step makeup routines, essences, ampoules, and even sheet masks. So Glow Recipe became the translator between the two worlds. They hand-selected Korean skincare brands and wrote educational content to help the US understand how K-beauty was and how to use the K-beauty products. They didn't want to make the brand about the product. It was about educating a new audience to K-beauty. So in 2014, Glow Recipe launched not as a skincare brand, but as a curated online marketplace for Korean beauty. Christine and Sarah would fly to Seoul, they would meet with formulators in labs, hand-select their own products, and explain to them in a way where US consumers could understand K-beauty. They didn't just want to sell products, they wanted to create educational content for US consumers. Think of it as K-beauty 101 for the West. They introduced niche Korean brands like Wahimza and Lijijam and built a loyal following of skincare enthusiasts. Actually, Glow Recipe didn't really market themselves as a traditional Korean brand. Their genius was cultural translation. So they took the best parts of Korean skincare like bouncy gels, fruit enzymes, and serums and made them fun, minimal, and digestible and easy to understand for a Western audience who wasn't familiar with these K-beauty terms and standards yet. So instead of harsh clinical branding, they embraced the color of like joy, softness, really minimal. And this wasn't accidental. They chose to do this as a strategic cultural positioning. They understood that the US beauty consumer base was really moving towards skincare as self-care, clean beauty with real efficacy, and brands that were serious and playful. And Glow Recipe was built to deliver all three. Glow Recipe was seeing a very slow success, but margins were tight. They didn't actually own the product, and deep down, they had a bigger vision for the brand. So in 2015, Christine and Sarah decided to go on Shark Tank, and they pitched Glow Recipe as a curated skincare platform. Robert Herjavec offered them $425,000 for 25% equity, and they accepted it on air. But actually, in a surprising twist behind the scenes, they walked away from the deal after filming. So you're probably asking why, and it was because they realized that they wanted to keep full control of their brand and didn't want to be locked into a valuation that underestimated the brand's potential. Still, the exposure from Shark Tank did bring them a lot of national attention, and their web traffic exploded. Their email list was growing, and their brand was slowly becoming more and more popular. And by 2016, their curated platform was gaining traction, but the margins were still thin, and they had limited control over product development. Sarah and Christine wanted to launch a product that embodied everything Glow Recipe stood for. So they decided to fund the research themselves and the development themselves for their first product, the viral watermelon glow sleeping mask. It was not easy at all. They faced a lot of regulatory hurdles bringing Korean formulations into the US. They had packaging prototypes that failed stability tests. Fragrance level balancing, they actually wanted it to smell like watermelon without it being too synthetic or irritating for consumers. And they also received a lot of retail hesitation. So brands like Sephora, they weren't really interested in bringing Glow Recipe to their stores. So Christine and Sarah decided to launch their product on their own website, and it actually sold out within hours. And it sold out, specifically, it sold out in less than 5 hours and had over 5,000 people on the wait list. And it was super popular and exploded all over YouTube and Instagram. And the customer feedback was explosive. It gave them the data to pitch again to Sephora, and this time Sephora said yes. Here's something that many people actually don't know. In the early years, Glow Recipe actually had two separate lines. So you had Glow Recipe, which was the curation platform where they sold curated Korean brands. And the second was Glow Recipe Skincare, which was their own product line, which was a sub-brand within Glow Recipe. And you're probably asking why. And because at the time, curated marketplaces and brand creators weren't really seen as the same thing. So founders were afraid of launching their own brand while still selling others that might seem like a conflict of interest or confuse consumers. But by 2020, they had a breakthrough moment. Their own products were clearly the primary draw, and the curated lines were being phased out or not as popular anymore. So the brand identity was fully shifted into a curator, not a creator, not a curator. So they shut down the curated platform and rebranded Glow Recipe Skincare to just Glow Recipe, and they focused 100% on in-house products. And this was a major turning point in the business. So while the public was seeing the pink jars and the dewy skin, behind the scenes, Glow Recipe was really building. They had a lead team of specialists, not generalists, a demand planning system to help keep sellouts from becoming disasters, and they had a lot of partnerships with different labs in Korea and the US to innovate faster. They also had a heavy investment in community building, and they called it the Glow Gang, which was a digital skincare sisterhood. Glow Recipe also never overexpanded, so instead of rushing into Ulta and Target, they focused on really deepening and having a good relationship with Sephora, with in-store exclusive, mini sizes, and even loyalty events. Another really important business move that Glow Recipe decided to make was they weren't trying to dominate their shelf space with dozens of launches per quarter. So instead, they take a hero product approach, which means that they focus on a few standout formulas each year, like the Watermelon Glow Sleeping Mask or the Plum Pump Hyaluronic Serum. So it means that they really focus on one specific product and put all of their efforts into that one product because it doesn't overwhelm the customer, and it allows them to build a story and go viral and gain traction over time. And every new product launch that Glow Recipe decides to do has an orchestrated rollout. So it has influencer seeding, so they find influencers to promote the products. They have social teasers on their Instagram, visuals, and they have educated content that shows how the product was created and the behind the scenes of creating that product. And this creates demand for the product because brand loyalty is very strong, and it gets each customer to fall in love with every product that Glow Recipe is releasing. Important business move that Glow Recipe made is that when they first launched, they leaned into their own e-commerce website, as I mentioned. So this gave them 100% control of their branding, their own customer experience, and their very own data collection. They tested product concepts in real time, they tracked conversation rates, they understood their audience before approaching retailers. And only after proving their traction were they able to partner with Sephora. But even then, it wasn't really about shelf space yet. They negotiated exclusive launches, store activations, and brought their digital first vibe into a physical retail store. And this impact showed that they could stand on their own first, and this leverage made their retail partnerships much more collaborative and premium. Christine Chang and Sarah Lee, as I mentioned, were both Korean American beauty veterans, so they made themselves the very face of the brand, but not in like a flashy celebrity way that we typically think of. They wanted to come off as educational and trustworthy, so they would appear in YouTube videos, they would host their own Instagram lives, they broke down the ingredients list in all of their products to be really authentic with the consumers, and because they came from the beauty industry, they knew how to combine science-backed skincare with knowledgeable and approachable friendly content. And this helped them stand out in a market that was already super overpopulated and compensated with skincare at the time. And this impact was that customers didn't just buy the product, they actually trusted the people behind it. They trusted Sarah and Christine for creating a product that was that wouldn't harm their customer. So Glow Recipe didn't just use social media just for product shots. They wanted to curate their own Instagram in a way that matched their product and other products that they're selling. So their Instagram and TikTok feed is filled with ASMR videos, dewy skin close-up, and pastel color palettes like pink, because that's obviously the main color of the brand. But their key was always education. So they actually taught what ingredients were in this in the serums, why those ingredients mattered, what the different ingredients did for different skin types, how it impacts our skin. They didn't want to just create a product and not explain how it was created and the benefits of the ingredients in that product. And this earned themselves a much more attraction, because not many companies really care enough to tell the consumers exactly what is going onto their faces and what exactly is in the products. So one really unique thing about Glow Recipe is that every product is centered around a fruit. So you have watermelon, guava, plum, blueberry, papaya. It wasn't just a random thing that Christine and Sarah decided to do. It was very deliberate, and it's there for a reason. So fruits are very appealing. We think of them as fresh, clean, and it actually aligns with K-beauty roots, where natural ingredients really play a role in the products. And also each fruit has a scientific function. Like watermelon is soothing, papaya exfoliates, plum hydrates, and it's combined with jelly-like textures and adorable packaging. And these products became really shelf worthy. So people would take pictures of the products, with the products on the shelves. The product was very, very aesthetic. Glow Recipe's really big power play was bringing two global skincare trends together. So the US push for clean beauty, many people wanted really clean ingredients in their skincare, and they combined Korea's reputation for advanced skincare innovation. And they simplified the often 10 to 12 step Korean skincare routines into 2 to 5 steps. They really, really minimized it down. They reformulated traditional K-beauty products to meet the clean beauty standards that the US wanted. They avoided harsh ingredients like parabens and drying alcohols. So the customers actually get the best of both worlds, the cutting edge K-beauty results with the US friendly simplicity and safety standards. They made something that was considered foreign feel familiar to the US audience without compromising on their innovation. So instead of rushing into every beauty retailer store, Glow Recipe stayed loyal to Sephora. And this was because Sephora gave themselves something more than just shelf space. They gave them status, community, and consumer data. They exclusively used collaborations, early access launches, and in-store events to boost sales. They offered Sephora clean, approved formulations, and joined Sephora's influencer campaigns. And their placement on Sephora's front tables, that's not by accident, it was earned. Sephora really liked what Glow Recipe was doing, which earned them the front displays at many Sephora stores. So instead of chasing every major store, they made one partnership with Sephora, which was very successful, and this opened doors for them globally. Glow Recipe didn't just build a fan base, they really built a new skincare movement. Their Glow Gang hashtag showcases customer selfies, reviews, tips, even before and afters of using the Glow Recipe products. They actually feature real people on their feeds, not just influencers who are paid to promote a product. They also create content with their community, so they ask for product suggestions, feedback on textures, and packaging preferences. And because of this, people were really felt heard. And when customers feel like collaborators, they turn into lifelong loyalists for the brand. So there you have it. Glow Recipe isn't just about dewy skin and fruit jars with really nice packaging. It's a blueprint for how to launch a unique beauty brand in the digital age. The founders knew their story, they owned their niche, controlled their growth, and built a really strong and successful community from day one. From K-beauty curators to global brand founders, Christine and Sarah really transformed the beauty industry and the skincare industry. If you found this breakdown helpful and want more deep dives like this, please hit the like button, subscribe, and comment with the next brand that you want me to see cover on Backstage. Thanks for watching.